Fabulous Friday. I almost said something else. Fabulous Friday, Captain Watkins.
Another fabulous effing Friday.
Right? David and I were just talking right before we came on at how just crazy everything is. Things are topsy-turvy. You don't know what to believe when you see it and read about some things, and we have to have a lot of discernment.
Yeah. And I was telling Sonny that I don't believe anything I read or hear. Deep fakes are so darn good now that, it can come right out of the mouth of the person it's being attributed to on video. And
Yes.
I don't believe it. And, that I guess the whole thing is, we have a society that's being thrown into chaos intentionally, like you mentioned, and we just have to, I think, keep our eye on the main thing and what's real and what isn't. And I'll tell you what, with the digital technology the way it is today, it's hard to tell.
It is. And the use of AI, I watched a video today and I looked at this. This was a child speaking. And I said, this whole thing is I believe it is artificial intelligence, the entire thing.
Yeah.
And I went, yeah, you just have to, because now if they have a little bit of my voice, they could just replicate me somewhere else saying something, or anybody. And that's the reality of today that we live in. So when your account gets hacked, even though there might not be a video of you, you're saying create people are, because I saw that on an account. Somebody had sent me a message and I go, oh no, that's fake.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a text out of the blue the other day that just had a video link in it from an Oregon phone number, not a phone number I had in my contacts. And I looked at it and I go, no, I'm not going to click on that. God, jeez.
And today, when I got into my my county chair email, there were 6 emails from people I've never heard of. And hi, Sonny. Hey, you know what? We've got a great program for you to blah, 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 blah. And they were almost identical from word for word, but from different people. And I went, well, here's a whole bunch of bots. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I just got a phone call about 20 minutes ago from it was a voicemail because I didn't answer it because they're all spam calls. And the voicemail said that with my current Spectrum account, which everybody should be happy that I won't drop out anymore because I got rid of Elon Musk and his Starlink, his overpriced Starlink. It said that my new Spectrum account, I'm eligible for 50% off. Just call this number back. I'm thinking, well, I don't have a Spectrum account. My son does. He got it.
uh-huh.
So I call him up and I said, hey, did you put that account in my name? And we have the same name, but he goes, no. He goes, they just came out and installed it.
Well, that was a quick wow.
Yeah. And then he said, oh yeah, I did get an email that said I needed to set up an account, but yeah, it's just a never ending bombardment of stuff just everywhere. This thing with the Tualatin School District, this boy who erroneously, mistakenly, and delusionally believes that he's a girl, is beating up girls.
Yeah.
And I was discussing this with Karen. I said, when I went to school and when you went to school, that kid would have got the shit beat out of him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He probably would have got the hell beat out of him before he even touched a girl, but when he declared that he was a girl, because I mean, you can't be a girl, boys can't be girls. And as you can tell, I'm trying to get us deplatformed here because I'm and girls can't be boys. You can pretend all you want, and in this country, a free country, you have absolutely every right to pretend what you want to be. But Your chromosome count will never change. Your DNA will never change, no matter how much surgery or how many hormones you take.
Only
And
by injection.
when your skeleton is dug up in 1,000 years by an archaeologist, they will look at your bone structure, and they will say, "This is a boy," or "This is a girl," regardless of what you think. And as far as I'm concerned, it is not compassionate to support these delusions that people have. I don't think it's the right thing to do. I don't think people should support someone's decision to become a different gender because it's delusional. It's a mental illness. It's not right. It's mean to support that, as far as I'm.
Especially in children.
Oh,
This is when
it's child abuse.
if
It's
you make
child
this
abuse.
decision as an adult, you're 25 years old
Yeah,
or whatever, and you
or
decide you want to
18.
be whatever, go ahead. No,
Yeah,
because 18, you know what? The brain, especially the brain, is still going through a tremendous amount of development. So that's
yeah,
why I said, like, erroneously 25 years old.
sure.
Um, but it is society. We used to help people through mental illness problems. And
Yeah.
this is not doing that. This is
No,
ignoring it.
no, it's a mental illness problem that is being fed, being
Yes.
sparked, being promulgated by teachers in schools and a complicit government and a complicit media. I don't even think you can't even blame this one. I think on entertainment industry. Uh, you know,
No, you can't, because this was
I
pushed.
don't think you can blame it on video games either. Maybe I don't know, but it's
I don't know.
these little kids, grade school kids, middle school kids. I mean, someone has to tell them that, hey, if you think you're a girl, Stevie or Mike or Joshua, whatever the hell your name is, you can be a girl. I mean, nobody thinks that. No little boy thinks, hey, I can be a girl.
No, and no, they don't. This is an idea that's put in their head. Even it doesn't matter if boys play with Barbie dolls. It doesn't matter if girls play with trucks or soldiers or whatever, These are children being children, and they I saw a great video on social media that it captioned, "This is why a child cannot choose their gender." And maybe you saw this, or one of our audience members did. And the guy plunks down $20,000 in cash, or maybe it was $10,000 in cash. And he puts 2 Oreos in front of this little boy. And the little boy goes, I want the Oreos. I'll choose the Oreos. He goes, really? This is 10,000 in cash. He says, yeah, I want the Oreos. And I'm going to guess that the boy was probably about 5 years old.
Wow.
They're not, they are not capable. This is the ages of when children, one day they have a fight with their best friend, and the next day, and they hate each other, and the next day they're all made up.
Yeah.
This is just a part of growing up, and it is absolutely child abuse. What is happening to children?
Yeah. Yeah, fortunately, I forget what court it was. I don't know if it was state Supreme Court or a federal court upheld Kentucky's ban on child abuse of changing gender for minors. So that's good news. But the whole
Tennessee's been held up as it's been affirmed as well to ban by the courts.
yeah,
The courts have upheld that Tennessee are not going to be changing people's genders.
Tennessee, Kentucky, same state in my mind. Who knows?
Well, that's 2 different ones. There's several that have gone on that way.
I don't know if I've been to Kentucky. Anyways,
I've never
that's
been
good.
to Kentucky.
Been to Tennessee many times. Been to Nashville, Nash Vegas. But yeah, it's so now we have, and so these people are, these kids are they're obviously mentally ill, and then they're, this whole delusion feeds their illness. And they wind up in these violent confrontations. You remember the whole Trans Visibility Day, where trans people were saying they're going to kill you if you, if you say anything about using the wrong or the right bathroom. I'm not even sure how to put it anymore. It's so confusing. And then we have this boy who's beating up on middle school girls and did it repeatedly. There's at least, as I understand it, 3 videos made of this boy who thinks he's a girl beating up on another or beating up on a girl.
So I posted the link from the Oregon Catalyst and Oregon Watchdog, and there are links to 2 videos in there. I've watched 2 of those videos, and for 2 different girls. So this is a boy wanting to be a girl that is attacking girls and violently attacking girls. This is not just something a little push. This is grabbing them and slamming them to the ground, grabbing their hair and shaking their heads and hitting them in the head. By the way, they are very graphic videos, very violent, and this kid has a problem. And I'm sure the drugs that he's on are attributing to it. And when you are trying, you know what? All of us kids, as kids, we were all self-conscious of something at school, right? You know, and kids will be mean to one another as well. And so imagine in today's age going through. So apparently one of those attacks was reported. Supposedly the girl was spreading rumors. Who cares? You know what? What is it? What it was, who cares? Words will not hurt you.
What'd she do? Did she say Kaylee has a penis?
I don't know. It doesn't say that, but apparently in this article has reported that a suspect has been arrested. And I don't know, but this is awful. And parents, quite frankly, should be at the Tualatin School District screaming.
Well, yeah, the school district sent out an email indicating that it's the parents' fault because this video was shared and this is wrong and they're minors and you can't do that and it's not helping. It's like, well, I don't understand how schools work anymore. I know when I was in school, if that happened, the kid would get pummeled, and the teachers probably wouldn't have stopped it right away. Nobody would have went to jail because nobody went to jail back in the day when you got in fights and, nobody killed anybody. You just got in fights until the one person gave up and that was it. But I have the slightest idea. and the weird thing about this is not in Baltimore. It's not even in Portland, downtown Portland. It's in freaking Tualatin Tiger School District.
Right. Right. Exactly. This is not in Portland. Or Chicago, or Los Angeles, for that matter. No. And
it's crazy.
So here you are. Bobby says, I blame the schools for allowing this crap to happen. I fully agree. And now the school's going to ban cell phones. Oh, the videos, the students were,
Yeah, they don't want evidence.
No, exactly.
They don't want evidence
exactly.
on their schools. Yeah.
And
that's why they hide everything. That's why they hide everything in their classroom. I have a friend of mine who's maybe he's not a friend anymore. I don't know. But anyways, he worked in and he turned out to be a very different person than I thought he was. But he worked in a Portland school, and he said that when they had the Teachers' Day, they took all of this propaganda down off of their not Teachers' Day, Parents' Day, whatever.
Yeah.
They took all this propaganda down out of their classrooms and stashed it away, and then put it back up after they were done. They don't. I don't know how
they don't want people seeing the indoctrination that is happening and what the students have to live under every day in class.
I don't know how normal people teach in that environment. I mean, there's got to be some normal teachers, right?
There are normal teachers. I have a couple of friends that are normal teachers, and they are doing the best that they can. And, like a friend of mine had told somebody else I know that we have to be the change. And yeah, you do. But you're working in that environment, and how difficult, because you are going to be risking losing your job. But how do you justify being in that environment, teaching the children that, so they're going and finding jobs elsewhere in other private Christian schools, just like the private Christian schools are expanding. A lot of parents are yanking their kids out of public school and putting them in private school. I know many people that have. And but it's about, as I've said on this, and we've talked about this quite a bit on the show, David, and we'll need to continue talking about it, but we have to take our school districts back and say no, and take the schools back instead of just abandoning the whole thing. Say no, this is the education system, and because our tax monies go there until something's changed.
Right.
I mean, power to the parents that have the money to take their children out of school or homeschool, but there's still a lot of kids in school, and those will be the next screwed up radical kids. And that's why we, as the sane adults, I'll say, have to go and fight with the school districts and say, no, this is not acceptable in our community and in our school district.
Right.
We got to fight for it. Otherwise, it's by not fighting, standing up for it and fighting for it. That's kind of how we got here. Now, I did post the story about, you can go to Princeton, and for $83,140, Princeton will train your son to be a drag queen.
Really?
And yes. And
does that include costumes?
I wonder. That I don't know, but that is what it costs for 1 year at Princeton. And so if you're doing 4 years, that's $332,560. But what they have done is Princeton has started the drag queen training program. The Princeton Drag Queen Training Program is open to all undergraduate and graduate students interested in the world of drag. Students don't need to be concerned if they're too young. There's no prerequisites, no preliminary courses, and they can go from 0 to drag queen in just 1 course.
Wow.
And it is an entire academic year.
Wow. Yeah. You got to make some serious tips to pay off those student loans.
Oh man, sir, no kidding. But and it's like, I just don't know. This is anybody that wants to do this. This is still mental illness, but it is. If you separate those with mental illness from those that have, at 25 or however old they are, come out of the closet and decide they want to be a girl, they're such a small population, a small number of less than 1%, I'm sure. And I would guess
fraction of a percent.
Okay. And yet this is being shoved down our throats, shoved down the children's throats at school, that this is the new norm and this is what we have to do. And no, we don't. People, we need to take care of those with not chemically castrating students and not having them get mutilated by surgeons and altered forever. We have to protect the children. And if you want to do that as an adult, go right ahead. That's what you do in your private life. That's what you can do, but not in our schools.
Yeah, I agree. I think the people that do that kind of so-called, well, it's not healthcare and it's not medical care. That's so-called medical mutilation, if you will. Yeah. Be it either surgical or chemical, are criminal and should be prosecuted.
Yes, I agree. I do agree with that, actually. Especially with children. As an adult, I don't care.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, is children.
Yeah, only children. Leave the children alone.
Yeah. Well, they're not, are they?
No, no, they're not. They're very aggressively going after them because that's what the communists want to do in our country and cause a lot of gender dysphoria and chaos and confusion. And that's the best way that you overthrow a country is by
Oh
doing
yeah,
that.
yeah. It's right in the Communist Manifesto, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which I think is part of the DNC or Democratic National Committee's platform.
Well, speaking of the DNC, there apparently RFK Jr. is going to be running as an independent.
Really?
He's going to be making an announcement, I guess, next week. I don't know, soon. It's this article on PJ Media that I was reading today. And because the DNC is doing everything they can that he will not be able to be on the ballot. I'll tell you, the illegal things that are taking place, the prosecutions of Trump, the Democrat Party going, oh no, RFK Jr., you can't be on the ballot. Just like some states are saying, no, the president, we're going to choose who the presidential candidates can be on the ballot. Oh no, you file the paperwork, you get on the ballot. You know, that's been the rules.
Yeah, yeah, it has been, and the DNC is well, we've seen it before. There is underhanded to their own as they are to Republicans. We saw it with the Clinton Bernie thing. Not that I feel sorry for Bernie, and Clinton's just a Clinton. I mean, Clinton's going to be a Clinton. If it walks like a Clinton and talks like a Clinton, it's going to act like a Clinton, and that's what Clintons do. Apparently Obama's and everybody else, but somebody just texted me, a friend of mine said, do you think Trump will pick RFK as a running mate?
No.
I said it's hard to say. I said there's a lot of people, even on our side, that are pretty enamored with RFK, and I also said that he's just nothing more than a bleeping commie Kennedy to me. I'm not sure why everybody, he says a few things and everybody swoons over him. And he's a freaking Kennedy,
Yeah, he is. And I do not think that Trump would go there. Frankly, I don't think so. I don't think that's a winning combination
I don't think so.
For the country at all. And, he's been trying to help people, educate people about vaccine injury and things like that for decades, actually, quite a long time.
Yeah.
And he's been quite scrutinized because of that. That was before it was popular.
Right, yeah.
Before we had
and that wouldn't be good for Trump. Trump was quite the vaccine pusher. So,
well, I don't know that he's a vaccine pusher either. I know that he certainly spoke about that in the beginning, but I don't know that I would call him a pusher. That's just me, though. And we can differ on that opinion. That's okay.
Oh, he was real proud of it.
Well, Dianne Feinstein passed away today. Speaking of the Democrats, so have you heard anything or speculation? And rest in peace, Dianne Feinstein, 90 years of age, longest serving, longtime California senator, way past the prime, should not have been in office at all, should have stepped down a few years ago. I feel that was elder abuse, much like our current president. It's elder abuse, and we've got a few others that Mitch McConnell needs to step down. And we have quite the, I was thinking about that today. We've got quite the aging electeds in our Congress.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be that way, but it seems like at some point in time, you should probably spend more time with your family.
Maybe there's a perk that you and I don't know about because we're not on the inside. Do they get a special bonus if they die in office? That the family gets more money?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that were the case.
And so I don't know. Maybe somebody in our audience will let us know about that, because that was clearly, I watched her. She actually gave a vote on Wednesday morning, but I watched her. I don't know when it was. It was recently, and she was at a committee, and they were making a vote in the committee, and so they asked for the vote, and it came to her name was called, by the roll call, and her daughter leaned forward and said, "Just vote A, just say A." And she shuffled through some papers and picked up and started speaking on the topic, and her daughter says, "No, just vote A. No, our speaking time is ended. Just vote A." And you're going, it's right in front of us if you were to watch. But is that anywhere in the news? Heck no, because no, she didn't vote today. She did vote Wednesday morning, but she did not. There was two other votes Wednesday afternoon that she did not vote on, and that was the end. So she passed away last night. So I tell you,
Yeah.
she didn't vote today.
Well, as one of my friends said, she finally became a good commie.
Oh dear. Well, okay. You know what?
I didn't say it. I didn't say it, Sonny.
No, you did. You did, but rest in peace, Dianne Feinstein. I don't know about that. So have you watched anything?
Name one good thing she did for America.
Oh, I certainly can't name anything she's done for America. But I still have compassion for people. Whether she's still a human being, and I'm sure she was a nice person, on the wrong side of politics from me, and I don't think helping our country. But it doesn't mean that, I know her family is sad at her passing, and
I'm sure they are.
Maybe we have to have compassion, David.
I don't have any compassion for communists. I don't have any compassion for people who are trying to destroy my way of life. I don't have compassion for people who want to take my guns, make me defenseless, who want to kill me with vaccines. I don't have compassion for any of those people.
Okay.
Most of them would probably rather see me dead. Right?
Probably. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Well, we're there. We're
Okay.
there. As far as I'm concerned, we're there.
Okay.
I mean, I think we should just call it what it is. I mean, I realize people, who are in front of other. I have no position to lose. I can call it like I see it, and I just don't have any compassion for people that are trying to destroy the country. Eventually, it's going to come down to them or us, and I'm not going to choose them.
Okay, so let's say, much like our own Civil War that divided families, and maybe some killed family members and whatnot, but at the end of the Civil War, then we have to come together as a country. And so I'm a compassionate person. So but I do not support, those that are trying to wreck our nation and take our guns and all of that. And I think you can still be compassionate and still stand up for your rights and the rights of our nation.
I think you can, yeah. And I think you can. I think you should. And I think if you don't, I think you violate your oath of office, and you should have been thrown out on your ear. Do I think you should be hung in the public square? Maybe not. But I don't think you should have been in office for 50 years?
Right. 100%. 100%. But
But
you know,
it goes back to what you said at the very beginning. Discernment. There's no discernment in the voter. The voter doesn't know. The voter gets a thing in the mail, says, we got to save this country and save a woman's right to kill her unborn child. So you got to vote Feinstein. You got to vote Feinstein. And all the media tells them the same thing, and they go, yeah, we got to save America. Let's vote for Biden and Feinstein and whoever the hell else, Newsom, or she was from California, right?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Newsom, and vote for all these people, and voters, and then they get taxed to death, and then the state tells them they can't drive their cars anymore, and they can't water their lawns, and all
But
this stuff, and they don't put any of it together.
no, they don't. No, they don't. And especially those that are not looking, that are still watching CNN or MSNBC, they're not even aware of what's going on. Like we've got impeachment hearing, right? The first impeachment hearing, and mainstream media, I don't think gave it much time, if any time. That part I don't know. I don't know how much it was covered, although Newsmax had it on all the time. And I don't know about Fox because I don't watch them. But there's a certain number of people in our country that are just unaware. And then there's those that are going, I'm not watching any news. I don't want to watch any of it. But they're still voting. So they're paying attention enough to vote and going, it'll come. But when it comes to their door, it's going to be too late.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure how this all ends, but I don't think it ends with everybody locking arms and singing "Kumbaya."
Well,
I don't know that, but that's just my gut.
Well, I agree with that, because it kind of goes back to what I was saying about our Civil War. We were a nation in a war with each other, but at the end, we, one side was the winner and one side was the loser, but we had to come together and strengthen our nation, and our nation has come a long ways, and the equal rights movement happened, and we've come so far as a nation, and it's just sickening to see the undoing of this so rapidly by the Democrats.
Oh yeah,
it is. It is the racist and all the environmental equity crap, and
yeah, pitting one American against the other.
Yes.
That's how you win.
Yeah.
House divided does not stand.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
So, did anybody, you didn't see, Musk went down to the border, and
I did not see that.
I'll tell you, it was good. He went down to the border, and he had 2 videos. I watched one, was just over 14 minutes. I didn't watch the other one. And he says, you know what? This is me here at the border. I'm going to come see with my own eyes what's going on. And he went to Eagles Pass, Texas, and did a live stream on X, formerly Twitter. And he's in a cowboy hat and shades, and a black cowboy hat, I might add, and shades. And but so they're there, and then they, after some discussion with a fellow who was with a Texas Republican, let me see who Tony Gonzalez, a Republican representative out of Texas. And so they kind of gave him a tour around in Eagle Pass, and Eagle Pass has got so many illegals coming across. And Musk says, he goes to a border patrol. Would you like to say something? He goes, sorry, sir, I can't be on camera. He says, okay, all right, no problem. But, but he wanted to give anybody who wanted to talk the opportunity. And they did go to a section. So they walked over to a section, and all the buses were lined up, and all these people were sitting on the ground and they all had a little white plastic bag. We can't get a plastic bag at the grocery store unless we pay for it, but they're giving a white plastic bag with I don't know what in it to all of these people then. And I will tell you, it makes me happy on one side that Governor Abbott is shipping these people to these sanctuary cities because it's showing them just what the problem is, but at the same time it's allowing them across the border. And I watched where the feds, I don't know what agency, went and cut the razor wire, that serpentine wire that the National Guard had put up, the Texas National Guard, I believe, and cut it and opened it up, and here, let the illegals come on through. But so I think Musk, he's a guy, he's got a huge platform and millions of followers, right? And I think it was fabulous for him to go down there and call the attention to it, because the Democrats are like pounding the table going, oh no, the border is closed and secure. Well, BS. It's not. And Elon Musk just showed a lot of people that it is not.
Well, that tweet has been seen 89.2 million times.
Wow.
No, that's not the number of people that actually watch the video, but that's how many impressions the tweet has. So, he's also got a video of him hip firing a Barrett 50.
Oh, I didn't see that. Oh boy. Oh yeah, there we go. Go Elon. Elon, I like that. Go to the gun range.
God, the left has got to be apoplectic. Their
Right?
their golden electric car boy Elon Musk has gone over to the dark side.
Yeah, well, at least he's showing the truth, showing the truth.
Yeah, and he's got the platform to do it. Of course, our friend Michael Yan has been showing what's going on down there all for quite some time, and he here I'm going to badmouth another Republican, but he doesn't think much of Abbott either.
Right,
governor down there, he thinks Abbott's in on the whole thing, and
I do too.
Yeah, but everybody outside that's not in the know thinks that it's Abbott against the federal government, trying to close the border. But apparently that's really not what's going on down there. But he's been down there telling everybody, for years. He's back down in the Darien Gap right now. We should have him on the show again. And actually, he's sick. I talked to him yesterday. He didn't sound good. Yeah, a lot of sickness going on in the Darien Gap. He said all of the people that he has been with down there recently have gotten ill. But anyways, he's been telling everybody, but he doesn't have he doesn't have 89 million people to
right.
to see what he has to say. So here
well,
we
that's
are.
why it's great that Elon Musk is showing this.
Here we are again at the compassion thing. So we got millions of people coming across the border, right?
Send them all home.
Most of them are military-age males. Many of them are not poor migrant families looking for a better life.
No.
A minuscule amount of them are being persecuted politically or religiously or otherwise being persecuted. So they're flying across the border in record numbers. The Democrats see this as the necessary demographic change that they need
definitely
to stay in power, right? But the people who are pulling Democrat strings, as well as strings around the world, let's just call them globalists, have a much more sinister motive in mind. And I think everybody knows, and this is 30,000 foot view, or even 40,000, 50,000 foot view. I think everyone, probably recognizes, if you give it much thought, if you thought about it at all, realize that the globalist intentions cannot be fulfilled, cannot be accomplished without the destruction of America. You have to destroy America if you want to institute your global bullshit plan for, world domination or one world government or whatever the hell you want to call it. I'm not really even sure what it is. You have to destroy America because America is the stumbling block to tyranny. And and so and all these people are coming across the border. Many of them are going to come here to kill us.
Yeah.
I mean, they know that before they cross the border, right? Not, maybe not maybe not even 10%, or maybe it's only 5% or only 1%. But they are coming across the border. And so it's hard for me, to give them a helping hand up, or, all my tax dollars going to pay for their health care and giving them a place to live and eating them or feeding them and eating them, feeding them and giving them water and all that stuff when I know they want to come here to kill me. So those people, I don't really have compassion for, and they're being, they're being shielded and hidden with the throngs of people who just, want to, a minimum wage job in America, which is, striking the jackpot if you're from Nicaragua or.
Oh yeah. Any of the Central and South American countries.
Yeah, or any of the African countries, or India, or
when you make $5 a day, let me tell you, $15 an hour is they just don't understand the cost of what it costs in America to live. So in this interview,
that's one of the things that they gave out. New York City gave out flyers to all the immigrants. They're having an immigrant problem in New York City. Gave out all the flyers, and one of the first things it said on there is it said New York City is one of the most expensive cities in the world to live. Perhaps you should find a different city to settle in.
Right. Oh well, yeah. I guess. I was talking to my husband and I were fortunate enough to be in Panama for quite a long time, and we're out in the San Blas Islands, and this on our sailboat anchored, and this young man in a canoe, Kuna Indian, comes up, and he wanted to chat with us, and we invited him aboard, and interestingly, he did not want to come aboard. I said, okay, but he wanted to talk with us about America. And he said, is Arnold Schwarzenegger, is that like really his job? So he was a couple of questions about actors and stuff like that. But he says, I want to go to America. And I said, but you don't understand. It costs a lot of money to live in America because so many countries people live subsistence living. And their lives are simple. It's rich. They're happy. They're healthy, and there's nothing wrong with that. You could call them farmers, just like ours here in America. That's subsistence living, essentially. And I said, so for example, and I said, so you have to pay rent in an apartment, and I gave him some figures. In dollars, because in Panama, they spend dollars. So he knows the value of the dollar. And we told him how much. I said, then if you have a car, you have to have insurance. And medical is not free. And, and on. And his eyes just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah. And I said, I'm not trying to dash your dreams. But America, yes, because you know what? We are the melting pot, and we are the country that you can grow up and be anything. You can be anything you want if you work hard enough.
Absolutely. And always have been.
It always has been. And in Panama, frankly, you could do the same thing. They don't have a caste system down there. But he was exposed to a lot of Americans that are on sailboats like Charlie and I were, and thinking that was the good dream. And yet it costs a lot of money in our country. I love to go live down in their country because
it was
I remember expensive.
I remember a guy who worked for a blueberry farm. I did some work on a blueberry farm. He was a Mexican guy, and he worked 4 or 5 months a year on the blueberry farm, and then he spent the rest of his time in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he said, "I live like a king."
You
He
know,
said,
and that's
why would
it.
I want to live here?"
If it's interesting that people, if you adjust your living to what you have financially instead of trying to keep up with the Joneses, it's amazing how well people can actually do. You know, you just have to
Yeah,
adjust,
yeah.
because
But you got,
we're brought up to you know, we've got to have a car for every person and whatnot. And I mean, that's okay if you can afford it, but for those that can't, you know, you do other things.
yeah. But as you pointed out, we live in a country that mandates a lot of expenses.
Yes.
They're not
Yes.
cheap. You know,
No.
car insurance is not cheap. You know, of course, I have too many cars, but you know, and if you have a mortgage, you have to pay, fire insurance. If
Flood
you don't,
insurance,
flood,
earthquake insurance.
yeah, healthcare insurance, which is just ungodly expensive. I already told that story on here about how if you have
Yes.
lower income, they want you to pay basically half of your income for that, or you can go on, the single payer. There's no in between. But yeah, it's an expensive country to live. I mean, I think in a perfect world, if I could have my guns in Mexico, I would live in Mexico, and I would make my money up here.
Yeah, I don't know if I would in Mexico. I like Mexico. I've traveled down there quite a bit,
Or
but
someplace.
you know what? Go back. I'm going to go back a minute to the Elon Musk. So what
Okay.
the representative said, zero are being deported. Zero. And
Really?
Elon says, he says, not even one. He says, nobody is being deported. Now, this was, maybe he's only speaking at this, Eagles Pass, Texas. None were being turned away. And he says, and truly, he says, this is all fixable if we just do everything by the laws that we have. And we make it just a little bit stricter, actually. He said about 1 in 10 will actually pass for an asylum seeker. 1 in 10 coming.
Unless they're Chinese.
Well, well, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Chinese, and this is the Border Patrol's
yeah.
own statistics. The Chinese are being granted asylum at like 53%, whereas everyone else is like 12% or 10%, or everyone else combined is like 10 or 12%. And that should concern us.
Well, yeah, but see, none of this is ever in the news. It's not,
No, no,
and so
nobody.
that's why these. In fact, I'll tell you what. After his video, I saw Elon Musk said, and maybe he posted it before, but I happened to see it after that video. He says, we need more citizen journalists. Y'all need to get a camera, and
Yeah,
we need more citizen journalists. And I
yeah,
think this was his dip into being a citizen journalist. And with a following like that, it's fabulous. So hats off to you, Elon Musk, for
yeah,
shining
yeah,
that light.
yeah. I like Elon Musk. He's a good guy. I mean, he's maybe not a conservative or whatever, but he seems to be a decent person who's not afraid to say things that are unpopular in media. Uh, and I appreciate that because as a elected to Republican Party leadership for many years, I had to temper what I said, but now I can just say whatever I want. And nobody cares. Maybe somebody will run against me on the fire board, and I'll get, I won't get reelected to the fire board. You know what? That's okay.
All right. Well, hey, everybody. Have a great weekend. And David, thank you for engaging conversation tonight. Very nice.
Okay.
And
Let me get my parting words here.
okay.
And these are not my words, but these are good words. And I've said it on the show before, but it needs to be said again if I can find it. Here it is. This is from a friend. We were talking about what we were talking about most of or the beginning of the show and other times during the show is that everything's just going to crap. Everything's in chaos. And my friend said this. He said, as a matter of fact, it was Jeff Reynolds, who's a founding member of the show. He said,
Yes.
accept things as they are, find a path to individual liberty, let others self-immolate in the insane society they wish, if they wish. Your first responsibility as a citizen is to be the strongest, most resilient individual you can become. Only then can you influence others in the proper direction.
Very good.
Yeah, wiser words are never spoken by anyone, and that
Yes.
was from our very own Jeff Reynolds, and those are his words of wisdom for tonight.
That's a great ending. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Good night, everyone.
Good night.